Everything is more expensive, and that especially goes for food. So after a few recent months of some pretty high spending at the grocery store in my household, I've come up with a few unique strategies to save some money on groceries, save some money on food. I think these strategies will help you too, so I'm going to share them with you today. Let's talk about 6 ways to cut down your grocery bill. The first thing is shop actively. Let me explain. You got to get familiar with prices in your local area. That means paying attention, knowing what things cost, especially those things that you put in your cart all the time, the things that you buy for you or your family that you cannot live without. When you know the price of those things and you know the normal price, you're going to have a good sense for when that price becomes a bad price or when it's a good price and it's a good deal. And you'll have the power to pivot on those bad prices. It's much easier to shop passively. Trust me, this is something that I tend to do. I've done all my life. I don't particularly love shopping, but I have to do it. I go into the store, I put things in my cart, I pay, and then I regret it when I come back home and I look at the receipt. But as an active shopper, you'll have a good sense to spot price creep when things get more expensive. So when that box of Lucky Charms is $2 more than it should be, you're going to know and you're going to pass on it. So the bottom line here, in this inflationary market, you cannot be a passive shopper, somebody who doesn't pay attention to prices and expect to save money. All right, the next tip, prices are important, but time is money too. So you want to focus the time that you spend hunting for good deals on those things that have the most impact. And that's probably the most expensive items you buy, or the items that you or your family can't live without. For me, Cheez-Its and string cheese, it's kind of funny, but my kids can't live without these things. They've gotten really expensive in recent months especially. So when I spot a good deal on these, I buy 2. And I don't have a lot of time, so I can't spend half an hour in the produce section nickel and diming deals. So I focus on those things that are higher cost, higher value. And when I get a deal on those, it's going to be better. Diapers, that's another good example of something to really go for if you have small children. We have small kids in my family, and my wife and I have discovered that the big old box on Amazon is always going to be cheaper than the small pack at the grocery store. So focus on finding deals on the things that are going to net the biggest impact. And the next tip is buy generic food brands, especially when the quality is comparable. So while you're out there paying attention to prices, noting the cost of things, you'll probably get a good sense for when you can buy the store brand over the name brand. To me, off-brand seltzer water tastes just as fancy, just as fizzy, just as tasteless as Buble. The same goes for my essentials like tortillas, peanut butter, canned vegetables. I will buy those at the discounted price, store brand price every time because they taste the same. There is one thing I have very strong opinions about. That's my mayo. Don't mess with my mayo. I will always buy the name brand. I'll even pay full price if I have to. That's just something that I can taste the difference though. But if you can't taste the difference, go with the generic brand. The next tip, establish a supermarket circuit of sorts. As an active shopper, you'll have learned which stores have better prices on which items. And by all means, drive to the discounts. Here's what it looks like in my family. On a monthly basis, we'll hit the wholesale club, really just for those items that we buy in bulk and meat that we can freeze. Every 2 weeks, we'll go to the discount grocery store that's in our area, and we'll look for deals on center aisle items like cereal and pasta. And then on a weekly basis, we're going to that sort of normal, closest grocery store, looking for a good deal on fresh produce and dairy. But back to bulk items real quick, because this is an area where you really want to have a good strategy before you go into the wholesale club, because these stores can be both a saver's dream and also a money trap. So really pay attention, hone in on those items that you know you will need, you know you will use, and when buying them there will save you money. For us, we drink the same Keurig K-Cup coffee brand every day, so we will absolutely buy the box of 100 there instead of getting the box of 10 at the grocery store every week. There's also things like napkins, paper towels, those paper goods that we can put in a closet and pull them out as we need them. It's great having paper towels whenever you need them, so we buy those at the wholesale club. Even socks and underpants. You know, my kid's into Paw Patrol right now. Next week he'll be into Spider-Man. We can get a pack of 10 pairs of underwear for cheaper than you can get them on Amazon. So that's always good to buy that type of stuff there. Things you might want to think twice before buying. Freezer goods, things that will sit in the back of your freezer for 5 years. I'm looking at that package of chicken cordon bleus that probably don't even taste that good. Things that you may not use in time. The bag of 6 cucumbers. You may not eat 6 cucumbers in the time before they spoil. So think about that. But the real key point here is have a strategy for what you're going to buy and where, and flock to the stores that have the best deals on certain items. The next tip, get paid back just for paying. So it's a good idea to pay for your groceries with a card that offers some form of rewards. That can be cash back or points, and there are cards out there with grocery-specific rewards. So you want to take a look at the cards you already have and use the one that gets you the most points or cash back. Or you may even want to open a new card that's tailored towards those grocery purchases. So my family, we have a card that gives us 6% cash back on groceries. So if we spend $1,000 a month on groceries, and we do because we're a family of 4, that's $60 cash back just for buying food. That to me is better than coupons. I'm too lazy to click coupons. Another thing we do that we found very helpful is we use that credit card only for our food purchases, so we can always see our grocery bills at a quick glance. But the one thing to always keep in mind with credit cards is you are going to want to pay that balance off in full every month to avoid interest charges and fees, because that totally wipes out what you just saved on groceries. For our final tip, here comes the B word. You know, we had to do it. You want to set a reasonable monthly food budget. And if it helps, the average amount Americans spent on groceries in 2021 was $5,259, and that's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I can tell you it's quite a bit more for my family of 4, so it's important to set a budget that works for you, and it's going to vary from person to person depending on many factors like how much you make, where you live, and of course how many mouths you have to feed. So set a budget that works for you. If you need some help there, here at NerdWallet, we recommend the 50-30-20 budget, and that breaks down like this if you're not familiar. You allocate 50% of your after-tax monthly income towards needs. 30% goes to wants, and then 20% will go to savings and debt repayment. So it's a simple strategy, a simple guide that can really help you. So you're going to think groceries, rent, but food, we're talking food here, that's going to be in the needs category. And while we do need food to live, not all groceries qualify as needs. I'm looking at that steak, wine, those cookies. Definitely, important to have sometimes, but I'm gonna classify those as wants, but it is absolutely okay to treat yourself if you have room in the budget. So those are my 6 tips. Here are a few final thoughts. Getting good at grocery shopping takes practice. It sounds weird, but think of it like a sport. That's what helps me not to hate it as much. Keep your eye on the prices. Know what items cost at different stores and pivot to the better price or the better deal. Use the right tools, like a credit card that gets you cash back on grocery purchases. But most importantly, know what a win looks like for you. And that could just be staying on budget with food bills, or it could be saving a couple $100 a month. But setting the goal and knowing when you achieve it will feel really good. I'm Tommy Tindall, personal finance writer at NerdWallet. We have a ton more resources and articles on how to keep the food budget in check on our site. And if you learned something in the video today, don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash that like button. I hate when people say that, don't you?